Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rise. We're back here at Walker Ford in Clearwater, Florida. And guess what? I have the new look of Ford's largest SUV is this vehicle right here. This is a 2025 Ford Expedition. This particular one is the all-new entry-level trim known as Active, Expedition Active. But before we get into this full-on, full-body on frame SUV, let's talk about what's going on here. So yes, you heard correctly. The Expedition, the whole lineup is getting a redesign, and they're changing some of the placement of the trims. Now this one, being an active trim, is your entryway into the Expedition family. It replaces the outgoing XLT. So you'll basically have active, you're gonna have platinum, Tremor, and King Ranch. So they're trying to simplify things. Now, with the changes, you'll notice, of course, on the exterior, there's a lot of changes, but wait until you get to the interior. But one thing I want to find out is, for the money, is this the most affordable, full-size, full-on, body-on-frame SUV? Let's go ahead. Let's dive into this one and see if we can find out. Right off the bat, you had those familiar dimensions of the Expedition, and I'm really digging this bluish grayish color. I feel like it kind of fits it in a sporty kind of way. Now at the front of the business, all new look, new lighting, full LED. You have some gloss black trim on the active level of the Expedition. And then working your way down, I do like the way you have functional corner air curtains, but I have to zonk. Right here, they should have put an LED fog lamp. But nicely sculpted front end, and then having those LED daytime running lamp on the active trim. Your LED daytime running lamp comes into the corner here. Now on the other trims, it actually extends all the way across. So something to just know that if you see this coming down the road, it's not gonna have the new LED lighting all the way around the lower bottom edge of the grille. In a way, I kind of like it because it just kind of simplifies the lighting. Now, as we come across the front, you're gonna get those horizontal bars, gloss black with the familiar blue oval. Active trim does get a forward-facing camera, full functionality all the way around. And then one of the things I'm sort of on the fence about is the amount of flat black on the lower bumper. It kind of feels a little unfinished, but you do have the functionality in the center there because we do still have the EcoBoost twin turbocharged power plant. But let me know what you think about the face of this new Expedition. Now, before we rise up, you do have active shutters that open and close on the top portion of the grille. They're in the closed position, but they do function when they open, obviously. Now, as we rise up, all the trims get the Expedition name across the hood. I just wish that they would be sunk in. I'd rather just have it be embossed rather than these stick. These remind me of those magnetic letters that back in elementary school and kindergarten that we learned the alphabet with and how to spell. So that's what I think when I see that. Now hood-wise, you got a nice indentation in the center, a little bit of a drop on both sides of the hood so that you got good visual reference points, but you'll see once we get behind the wheel, you actually got great visibility through the windshield. Now, coming around the bend, what are we working with? Wheel and tire setup. Now, when you go with the active trim, you're getting a 20-inch wheel, machined aluminum, metallic gunmetal gray. I'm digging the style of the wheel. It's kind of simple, but it's not like just painted metallic silver. Tire size, 275 on the width, 60 series sidewall. Of course, they worked through the whole suspension and everything with this being a new Expedition. And you'll also notice that we don't have any flat black, even on the base trim. But let me know, like I said, what you think about the wheel on this. Being a full-size SUV, sitting on the same chassis as the F-150, this is rear-wheel drive based, but you also could get that 4x4 setup as well. Coming down the side, you do have gloss black on the mirror caps, base trim, 360-degree cameras. I do, like I said, the name of this color is called Glacier Gray. Really fits it nicely. It gives it a nice sporty look. This is not the Max. And this particular one is a 4x2, so it's just rear-wheel drive. That's gonna help keep that price point in check. You do have stationary running boards, color matched on the door handles, just a little bit of bright shiny metalwork on the bottom, and then up top you're gonna get your standard just flat black roof rails because this is the active trim. Working our way towards the rear, they do a great job on the quarter window, and then spinning around back, you gotta let me know how you feel about this. I love the glacier gray. This gloss black, that's a big zonk. I'm not digging it whatsoever. Too much gloss black. But of course, you got your color match roof spoiler, and you do have your wiper tucked underneath. Full LED lighting, like the way they did that on not only the front of the vehicle, but the back. And then working our way down, you do have your lower bumper area. You can see one exhaust outlet exposed down there, and we have our full tow capability with this, which guess what? When you properly spec it, you actually get more towing for 2025. But let me know what you think about the exterior. Let's go pop the hood and talk about horsepower in this Expedition. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. Underneath the hood is that EcoBoost power plant. Now for 2025, unfortunately, there's no changes in output. Standard EcoBoost in this vehicle has 400 horsepower, 480 pound-feet of torque. That's out of a 3.5 liter twin turbo V6. If you go to different trims, you can still get the 440 horsepower, 510 pound-feet of torque twin turbo V6. But this one, like I said, 400 horsepower, 480 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60 in about 6 seconds. Top speed is governed around 124 miles an hour. The vehicle weighs right around 5,700 pounds. MPGs, you're looking at 16 in the city and 24 on the highway. And when properly equipped, you can tow up to 9,600 pounds with this new Expedition. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire it up and see this thing move. All right, guys, we're inside this glacier gray metallic 2025 Expedition. Remember, this is your entry trim known as the Active. Now, I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, can I afford this? You're talking about affordability. Now, remember, when I talk about affordability, I'm talking about for the type of vehicle it is. I would never say affordability, most affordable, thinking that this is like $20,000. We're comparing apples to apples, not apples to bananas or nectarines or something like that. But if you really need it large and you like Ford Expeditions, this one has an MSRP of $68,000. Just to put in perspective for you, a King Ranch has an MSRP of around $87,000. So we're talking about almost $20,000 difference. But let's see what you get when you go with the new Active trim. To the door panels. Love all the soft touch material. You have the soft touch gray up top. Then you have that gray leather style material, that bronze contrast stitching, aluminum speaker grill cover up top. And then down below, you got a door pocket where you could go to Subway and you could eat fresh for a couple days, because you could get some cold cut combos, some cold cut trios, and a couple drinks to wash it down. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, this is gonna feel different because it is. You have your lower dash here with your sound bar speaker, but this is that soft touch material, some of that silver aluminum style trim, and then you slide on in, you got a 13.1 inch touchscreen. Everything is in the infotainment system screen, including your AC. You do get heated seats and a heated steering wheel, no ventilated seats in the Active trim, and then you do have your dual climate control. But everything is controlled in the screen. I'm gonna throw it into reverse, backup camera, great resolution. You got your 360 cameras, your trajectory, so that's a heaven sent. And then we're right back where we started. You could also bring up all your new apps, including games. And then this screen is meant to adjust that screen. So you have your 25 inches of screen up top. This is meant to be like a head-up display. To change anything in the screen, you just touch here and then it changes up top there. That's how they work it. And even though this is the base trim, you do get blind spot cameras, which are nice to have as you're driving. Working your way down, this is going to control your 10 speed, automatic. This is your actual volume knob. I like the way it's got the Expedition name embossed here. 2 cup holders with your standard 4 key fob. Nothing wrong with that. Flipping around, you got your remote start. Love the way there's no gloss black. You slide this open, you do get Pro Trailer Assist, USB-C, USB-A, and wireless charging. And the active trim, I'm very happy to show, also gets the power sliding center console. You could put a purse, a bag, a sack, a satchel, even a fanny pack or two you could drop in there. And then this slides back very nicely. Love all the leather, the stitching. Open this up. Whoa! 2 USB-Cs, a 12 volt, and you have enough room to where you could easily put, I could put an NES and a Sega Master System in here. And if you know your video games, you would know that NES and Sega Master System were both 8-bit game systems. The first 16-bit, it's kind of tricky, game system, a lot of people would say is the Sega Genesis. Technically, you're correct, because it was the first to have a 16-bit processor. The one that beat them, though, was by a company called NEC. It was called the TurboGrafx 16. It used 2 8-bit processors to get to the 16. So that's a little history for you. And if you want to put a Sega Genesis and a TurboGrafx 16 in here, you could do that as well. I'm going old school. Well, I guess if I'm going old, it would be Atari and ColecoVision. But I'm going like the next level, which is NES, Nintendo Entertainment System, and the Sega Master System. Only 2 game consoles, that's it. You're not getting 3 in there. Seats, the leather material, nice stitching. You do have electric assist for the passenger, electric assist for the driver, and then check this out. Base trim, guys. Power sunroof, panoramic with a power shade. That's a nice touch. But why don't you come over here at the business end? I want to show you behind this weird wheel in the new Expedition. All right, guys. Business time behind the wheel. You do have your seat controls, easy to get to. Love the way they have all full power seats. Seats have been redesigned. They are so comfy. I'm 6 feet tall, plenty of room in here. New shape steering wheel. You have the leather. And if you notice, everything is like a gray leather. I kind of am digging that since everything is usually black. There is some gloss black here, which is kind of dumb because it's right where you're going to put your palms. And then you have these very interesting sort of buttons for your thumbs. That's going to control information on that screen. It is an electric tilting and telescoping wheel. And then, like I said, you got that 25 inches of screen size. Let me see if I can get this out of Steven's way because he always complains. And then you do have your corner cameras. Look at that. There's a Mustang. And let me get this other one out of the way. Let's see. And then you don't get to see the other one because I couldn't get, there we go. There it is. And then we have, what is that? I don't even know what that is. Oh, that's a Ford Escape. So you got a Mustang and a Ford Escape. That's how good those cameras are. Just took me about 20 minutes to see what I was looking at. But other than that, I think that you'll get the hang of the screens. I think. But we'll find out. Let's get in the mid-row and the third row and see what you can stuff in this Expedition. All right, guys, mid-row time and third row time. You're going to get 2 captain's chairs in here with the same leather, that sort of like bronze stitching. And then this is what I'm talking about. I think Ford just won the battle, the war, when it comes to who has the best captain's chair armrests. It is the Ford Expedition. These things are massive. You could almost put 2 freaking arms on it. Now, when it comes to the seats, you do have your USB-C underneath, 2 pockets. You can put some honey buns in there, maybe some Krispy Kreme donuts. And then you got your 2 cup holders. Nice AC controls, easy to get to. And then you do have a home power source all the way down below. Seats are comfy as heck. Watch this. Watch when I recline it. It's ridiculous. Oh, that feels so good. I almost feel like I'm in a dentist chair. in a good way, because I'm here for comfort. I'm not here for getting my teeth drilled. And then the seats, they do slide. They slide pretty good. I think you're gonna enjoy them. It's good for the whole family. And then watch this. Push the button, seat gets up and out of the way, and I'm gonna slide on back. Slippity slide, look at this. This is how you should sit in the third row. Knees nice and low, plenty of headroom. I got even a little bit more with some recline. 2 USB-Cs, a place for some Go-Gurts. You're good to go. What else you need? It's very comfortable back here. But why don't we go ahead, let's get in the cargo area, because I want to take you for a spin in this Expedition. All right, guys, cargo area time. All trims, including the Active, have electric assist, the new split gate, which is nice. And then to drop down that lower portion, it's also power. So electric assist on both portions. You're gonna have all your switch gear on the driver's side to put down the seats. Now the third row is up. This is about 23 cubic feet of space. Fold down the third row, it's real simple. One touch operation, both sides go down. And then I even have the mid row nice and down for you, just to show you how flat that is. I mean, that's a lot of space. You do have Twinkie holders for your boxes of Twinkies. And then on the passenger side, Active trim gets all the goodies too. USB-Cs, 2 of them. You got a 12 volt and a home power source. And if you're wondering, well, what's the actual cargo numbers? Like I said, we start off with 23 cubic feet of space. Then we went to 69.9 cubic feet of space. That's Steven's favorite number. And then 108.5 cubic feet of space. Think about the Costco runs that you could do in this vehicle. Unbelievable. The amounts of mayonnaise and ketchup and hot dogs and sausages. I mean, you could live forever on that stuff. And with all the preservatives in it, it'll probably never go bad. So you just hit that button, seal it up. It's like sealing up a vault. And if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get behind the wheel, that weird shaped wheel in this Expedition, and see how it goes. All right, guys, we're inside this 2025 Ford Expedition. Remember, this is a 4x2. So this is rear-wheel drive only. You can get very easily to that infotainment system. You have your 25-inch LED digital display. All the important information is easily displayed in that pod there. And I think, like I said, once people get behind the wheel of this vehicle, even though it's a weird shaped wheel, I think you'll get it. You'll understand what the designers were trying to convey by having the screen set up like that. Love the way you have your easy access pull-out buttons. So for example, we could show out the back all by the press of the button here. Out the front, you could shut off that pesky auto start-stop feature. And then you have your different modes, which is nice as well to do. But nice to have that easily accessible. And then you could pull up different angles of the screen here. And then of course you could just get rid of the screen altogether, the cameras. We go into the driver memory, the drive modes like I was showing you. We'll go ahead and put it in sport. Love the graphics and the colors and everything. Look at that. They should put a picture of Bon Jovi, Slippery When Wet mode. But nice to have that easily accessible in this vehicle. And just very, very well laid out where everything is for your wireless charging. You have your Pro Trailer backup assist. This is going to make you look like a champion. This little device right here is going to make you look like a champion whenever you're putting the boat in the water. And that was one thing that growing up, my dad was like, hey, we're going to look like we know what we're doing, because I'm not going to look like an idiot in front of everybody. That will make you look really good. And obviously back when I was a kid, there was no technology like that. You had to use your eyeballs and your hands and feet. But great to see that even on the Active trim, you got the blind spot cameras. The power from the EcoBoost, because it's twin turbocharged and because of the 10-speed automatic, it really has a good get up and go to the vehicle. You're not waiting for the boost to build. There's no turbo lag with the twin turbo V6 in this Expedition active trim. Visibility is fantastic behind the wheel. And then even being the active trim, you'll be impressed with the sound deadening material in here. I mean, you could hear the ambulance, but other than that, it's really serene inside this vehicle. Love the way the 10-speed knows exactly what gear to be in. And once you get used to the overall dimensions of this beast, it's actually very easy to drive. The new steering wheel, even though it may look weird, it actually feels good to use, which is nice. But we're gonna go on throttle here. On throttle, here we go. So like I said, plenty of power to get up and move, and plenty of power to change lanes and do what you need to do very, very easily in this vehicle. They tune the suspension really well. Doesn't feel floaty or bouncy, which is nice. And like I was saying, with the power in this vehicle, I mean, look at this. Watch the handling. Nice, rear-wheel drive, baby. On throttle. So it does a really good job handling-wise, driving dynamic-wise. They really got it down pat with this Ford Expedition. And the nose of the vehicle definitely does not feel as heavy as, say, a Tahoe or a Yukon. You could feel the lighter weight because of the smaller engine. But you do have the V6 twin turbocharged setup in there. And then this does have Blue Cruise, which is very, very easy to activate. I turned it on, and now you have your autonomous hands-free driving. Want to change lanes? Changes lanes for you. Look at that. So this would compete with GM Super Cruise, and it does a really, really good job. And then to shut it off, you just hit the button again, you're good to go. So, like the way you could turn it on and off very easily. I think that's a big plus when it comes to driving this vehicle, is just how intuitive everything is. But even when you're driving in traffic, I mean, because of the technology, because of how everything's laid out, it drives really, really, really well. But I hope that this has been a good, quick overall review of what this Expedition active trim is bringing. We're gonna get back to where it all started and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, another great day in so many ways here at Walker Ford. Definitely gonna thank Frank Walker, Weston Walker, and Tracy getting us access to this big bad active trim of the Expedition. Now let me know what you think. For the price, is this the best way to go for a full-size, full-on, body-on-frame SUV? Let me know in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rights family. Got to give it up to Stephen Flood. He made it rain today. I don't know why he did that to us. He just wanted to challenge us, and that's what Stephen's all about. He's about creating challenges, but also accepting those challenges and working through them. So thank you, Stephen, I think, in a kind of way of making us really succeed today. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.